really disturbing story, and there's some video that we're going to show you that is very difficult to watch. So if it's triggering, please turn away right now. The family of a black Indiana woman is still waiting for someone to take accountability for Ta'Neasha Chappell's death while in police custody. She became violently ill on July 15th and begged for help throughout the night and the following day. Now, again, what we're about to play, folks, is extremely disturbing. So I just want to warn you right now, and you're about to hear other inmates describing her desperate pleas for help. And then you'll hear Ta'Neasha herself.
We could hear her violently throwing up. She hit the box.
I need one of the guards to come back here, please. Please.
So she told the box repeatedly, over and over and over, we all heard it, okay, that she needed help.
Yes.
Need help.
What?
Need help.
What do you need help with?
My stomach.
What?
My stomach.
What?
My stomach.
With your what? Your stomach?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do unless you're coughing up something crazy.
I need a nurse.
Huh?
I need to go to the hospital.
She's like, I need to go to the hospital.
I need to go to the hospital.
Do what?
I need to go to the hospital.
You gotta go to the bathroom.
I need to go to the hospital.
To the hospital?
Yes.
What's wrong?
I'm throwing up blood.
I'm throwing up blood.
You're throwing up?
Blood.
And she was very adamant about needing to go to the hospital.
Heal.
I need to go to the hospital.
Do what?
I need to go to the hospital.
Like everyone, like we could hear her hollering for help and stuff.
I'm dehydrated. My whole bucket is full with vomit. I'm throwing up blood.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I'm calling my sergeant.
She was making a big deal.
I spoke to the sergeant. He said that the nurse will see you in the morning.
Yeah. I'm throwing up in my sleep.
And the guards come back there or check on her like when they did their walkthrough. Nobody gave a shit. No one cared.
What's your name? Chappelle. Alrighty.
She was screaming, "Help me!" And we laughed at her.
I need help. I need help. I need help. I need help.
Ta'Neasha was eventually taken to the hospital around 4 p.m. the next day, where she later died that evening. Joining me now is Levita McClain, Ta'Neasha's mother, as well as her sister, Ronesha Murrell, in addition to Sam Aguiar, who is the family attorney. I hate to have to play those videos when I have family on the show. Unfortunately, we have to do that for the purpose of the audit, and so certainly my condolences to you. It is Mrs. McClain, and it is It is shocking and stunning to have to listen to her pleas. She is begging for help, and the callous disregard is clear. Huh? I can't hear you. Huh? I mean, if you hear someone in that level of distress, how do you not go down and check on them to see with your own eyes? What have they said to you and your family, Ms. McClain?
They just told us that first they said she was poisoned, and then they just ruled her death as undetermined.
But what did the jailers say? I mean, have they said anything regarding their lack of care?
They won't talk to us. They won't talk to us at all.
Sam, how long ago did this happen?
This happened back on July 16th of 2021. And like Levita said, you know, it's been 6 months of silence. I'm sure we'll get into it, but it's been a sham investigation. You know, I think your reaction is similar to mine in the sense that you just watch some things and you hear some things and it's so damn obvious. And to just see, here we are 6, 7 months later and nothing done, it just makes me wonder where we've come as a society. You know, has there really been any progress at all?
How did, give us an understanding, whether it's Sam, Levita, or Ronesha, how she ended up there. What actually transpired? And did she contact any family members? Was a phone call made? Anything? So set up how we even got to the point of her being there.
Do you want to go, Sam? Or Sam can talk about I can tell you about the phone call that was given to me.
Yeah, so basically, Roland, if we go back to May of last year, you know, we're talking about a shoplifting charge. And, you know, when you hear the interviews in this case, what you find out is that an officer with the Indiana State Police went to pull her over and he goes for his gun. So she drives off, panicked. You know, she's black. Southern Indiana is very white, has a history of racism. She takes off down the road and a police chase happens. They ultimately pull her over. The officer says that she was respectful, she was courteous, she was remorseful. And instead of them taking her to the jail in Clark County, Indiana, which is right outside of Louisville, they decided to put her in the car and drive her back up the road 50 miles and put her in a jail where the population was at 240, 2 of whom were black. Throughout the next few weeks...
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. How far was the jail where they should have taken her?
The jail that they should have taken her was about 1.5 miles off the highway, and instead they drove her back up the road 50 miles to Jackson County, Indiana, which is historically racist.
So instead of going to the city jail, they took her to the county jail.
They sure do.
Okay, continue.
All right. So over the next few weeks, you know, we hear Ta'Neasha's phone calls. We got them from the jail, and it's clear as day that she's experiencing a very, tough environment in there. She expresses repeatedly to her family that she's concerned for her safety. She expresses that the guards are making comments to her, like one specifically in a phone call is, you know, the easiest way to get away with murder is what the cop told her. And she says, what? And he says, be a cop.
Wow.
It goes on. And then it culminates, like you see, you know, July 15th, July 16th, of no fewer than 12 different guards that are on jail video coming to her. What we didn't see is that after the last phone call, 9:55 in the morning, by 11 o'clock in the morning, Roland, she has exited her cell. She stumbled. She tries to call on the box by hitting the intercom, but she's so disoriented that she's hitting a metal box on the wall that's not the intercom. She collapses on the ground. She's naked, other than in underwear that she is filled with her own waste that is green. And then you have officers that take 10 minutes to respond and then stand over her for 10 minutes before they force her to go back to her cell and lock her down.
Wait. They found her in that condition and sent her back to the cell.
Locked her in there, let her stay in there for another hour and a half, and then it gets worse from there.
How does it get worse?
She gets taken up to a group holding cell, which is a COVID quarantine cell. So why the hell they decided to bring her and dump her in with a bunch of women where they drop her on the floor. They drop her, literally, like let her fall to the ground. 30 minutes later, they put her in by herself. She can't speak. She is basically moaning. 2 officers come in after she hits her head on a steel bunk and determine that she's fine, and then come back and write in a report later that she didn't hit her head, but you watch the video, she slams her head into it. The nurse comes in finally at 2:30 in the afternoon and decides that because she is unable to dress herself, that he says, I'm going to go back to doing my thing. An hour after that, a sergeant comes in, says that she thinks that Ta'Neasha is faking, and she's acting like she's in kindergarten.
So the green waste just, thought she drank some dye?
Yeah, I mean, evidently, they just thought that, that was insignificant in the whole scheme of things. Everything about this is so wrong, Roland. It's disgusting.
So Ronesha, tell us about the phone call.
She calls me, the first time she calls me crying. She said if we didn't get out of there, she's scared that she would be on the news, and she tried to warn us. And then the second phone call was, please get her out of there. They're gonna kill her in there. And she said, then we'll be playing this phone call back, and we'll be putting her dead body, trying to figure out what happened to her.
So Sam, you said it was a sham investigation. So what was it? First of all, you said the autopsy concluded that she was poisoned?
Yes, it did.
Now she was driving, supposedly on a shoplifting deal. She gets picked up. How'd she get poisoned?
So, fast forward, she gets picked up in May. Fast forward to July, and
hold on, let's start right there. She gets picked up in May. She's in jail for 2 months on a shoplifting charge?
2 months on a shoplifting charge.
How much was the alleged, whatever? Well, first of all, what did they allege she shoplifted?
They allege that she went into an outlet mall and took some clothes.
Value?
Don't know that, but we're not talking about expensive jewelry or anything like that here. We're talking about, Ralph Lauren clothes that are at an outlet mall. We're talking about $20 t-shirts.
Was she ever arraigned?
She was arraigned. She was 2 months. She'd never been sentenced. She was still going through the pretrial process. They put a $50,000 bond on her, Roland. $50,000.
A $50,000 bond?
$50,000.
Which meant the family would have to come up with $5,000.
$4,000.
Okay, go ahead. And it was reduced. It was reduced to what?
Reduced to $4,000 for shoplifting. Her restitution probably would have been less than $4,000, but yet her bond was going to be $4,000. So we get to July. By this point in there, she is in a pod of 16 inmates, 15 of whom are white, and they're not just white; they're like Aryan white. Some of them with swastikas. There'd been a noose that had been put in her cell by an inmate previously, and she gets into an argument that day because it's supposed to be her day with the TV remote. So it's jail, you know, they argue over everything. And then all of a sudden you start hearing these calls from the cells, and, you know, they're calling her racial slurs. They're acting like, you know, she just went and, you know, dropped a nuclear bomb. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then at some point she ingested toxic substances, which this jail just leaves out all this cleaner that can be used. Ta'Neasha on the calls literally is even telling the jail officers, I'm not getting off the camera because I'm worried and y'all need to be able to see. And at some point, you know, they were able to slip something in there. And then the police take 5 months, investigate this thing. And you know what happens when the badge investigates the badge. You know, nothing came out of this. And after 5 months, their results of the investigation were nothing that differentiated from what we were told initially. Literally nothing. They had bottles of cleaner, and they had bottles of Mountain Dew and other food items. They never tested them. So literally, sitting at evidence right now in Indiana are about 5 pieces of evidence that have never been tested for toxic substances whatsoever. But the investigation's closed.
It's closed.
It's closed.
Reese and Greg, you have any questions?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Reese.
I'm sorry.
Please.
I just have to express my deepest condolences. I don't have anything that would be anything but pure outrage to express. So my deepest condolences to you and the loss of this just completely tragic and devastating loss.
Greg.
Yeah, I add mine to Reese's as well, and just a question, because as you all were talking, as we were reading about this story and then hearing it, I was thinking about South Africa. I was in South Africa years ago at the site of the women's prison where Winnie Mandela and Fatima Meer were treated so brutally during apartheid, and compared to what we've just heard, they were treated humanely. This is indefensible. I guess my question is two really: how do we reopen, and what can we do to not only support and surround you, but to build some type of mass action to bust these people out from the inside? Because this is simply, this is unacceptable. What can we do, you all?
I'm glad you asked that. So you know, this is awful. These are classic federal civil rights violations from a criminal level. And the best thing that we could do right now is put collective pressure on federal authorities to, you know, the FBI, the DOJ in Indianapolis, to really open up something here, to look into this, to look at all the law enforcement agencies that were involved. Because, you know, what happened here is you've got a county sheriff who calls up his buddies at the state police, who basically did them a favor, conducted a sham investigation. And if the feds are going to jump in like they said they were going to do, you know, the Biden administration was elected on the platform of, you know, so many people coming out on the promise that they were going to start holding civil rights violations like this, you know, as top priority, and they're not doing it. If they're going to put their money where their mouth is, then they really need to start investigating things like this with federal resources.
Ronesha, you talked about the call. This is some audio here where she talked about being scared.
You want to know what I think? I think they should have moved her a long time ago for her own protection. You know, I've said some pretty nasty things to her.
Like some bad stuff that happened. Somebody got in my face and screamed that I was a black nigger bitch.
I just called her a black nigger bitch. And then she said, for some reason I remember her exactly saying, watch your mouth. And then I yelled nigger about 50 times.
You know what a cop just told me yesterday in here?
What?
He asked me, do you know the easiest way to get away with murder? I was like, no, what is it? He's like, be a cop. I just gotta get this hell out of here before I end up on the fucking news. And this time, oh my God, it's so fucking scary.
Ronesha, as well as Lavita, you've been talking to various people to get the story out. Tamika Mallory with Until Freedom brought it to my attention. who has been standing with you in Indiana? Who has been, coming to your aid in the state? Any groups, any civil rights groups, what's been happening in the last 6-7 months?
We have some people from our community who has been standing with us. When we did a rally in Jackson County, Indiana, Until Freedom, Tamika Mallory and Glenda Sorcer, and a few other people with them had came and supported us with that.
This is certainly, extremely disturbing, very disturbing. Ms. McClain, your final comments.
I just want Jackson County to be exposed, and I want them to stand accountable for what they did to my daughter. And I don't want this to happen to nobody else.
Sam, to the point Greg asked, what you talked about, obviously wanting the Department of Justice to step in. Folks who are watching and listening, what would you like for them to do to help this family?
Any sort of mass action. It seems like the feds jump in when there's public outcry for something, and I guess the public needs to tell them that they want them to jump in here, and any sort of contact to whether it's the regional field office in Bloomington, Indiana, the FBI, or the DOJ up in Indianapolis, it would be greatly appreciated. Something needs to happen here.
We certainly appreciate all three of you joining us, Sam Aguiar, Levita McClain, as well as Ronesha Murrell. Thank you so very much as well. And let us know what happens in this case, and we'll certainly be following it as well.
Thank you, Roland.
Folks, back to our Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Time to be smart.
Roland Martin's doing this every day.
Oh, no punches!
Thank you, Roland Martin, for always giving voice to the issues.
Look for Roland Martin in the whirlwind, to quote Marcus Garvey again.
The video looks phenomenal, so I'm really excited to see it on my big screen.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
I got to defer to the brilliance of Dr. Carr and to the brilliance of the Black Star Network.
I am Roland with Roland all the way. Honored to be on a show that you own. A black man owns the show.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
I'm real revolutionary right now. Roland was amazing on there.
Stay black. I love y'all.
I can't commend you enough about this platform that you've created for us to be able to share who we are, what we're doing in the world, and the impact that we're having.
Let's be smart. Bring your eyeballs home.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
You dig?